What's that sound? Where? It's aliens and they're living in your town. Damn. They have arrived. What? They're all around. So many aliens living in your town. Are you scared?
What up, weirdos out there in Weirdo Land? It is the first episode of the 2025 Weird and Whatever season. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, 2025.
All right. Everyone doing well?
Yeah.
And how about this? In 10 seconds or less, everyone goes around and says how their 2025 has started. Denny's, you go first.
Mine has been great. My baby is now 20 months old, so there's been a lot of new developments. He can look at you, climb on you, ask you to do things, use compound sentences. All right.
I'm so just being a dick.
All right, go on, Beckett.
Please go on. Beckett, what beautiful country did you visit on a yacht?
I think externally, to me, it feels like the world's been a little chaotic in the first part of 2025. Internally, it's been great. We opened up Speakeasy by my house. I'll have you guys come by.
Oh, I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Good stuff.
So you got your own, is there a password to get in?
I'm just a tiny, tiny part of it, but it's right by my house, so yeah.
Wow.
It's a good time.
Oh, it's the one, so you can go out your backyard and walk right.
Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Oh,
It's
wow.
right there.
I remember you talking about this.
Yeah.
Vicky, 10 seconds or less, but unless it's juicy, give us 20.
Well, I'm not going to jinx it, but I have been seeing the same person for 3 months now.
Whoa!
And
Denny's, love is in the air.
It's true.
Wow. And is that why you're glowing, as they say in the business?
I think it's this bright-ass light, but yeah.
I did turn up the light a little bit.
Not to turn into Virginia, but what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Let me do blah, blah, blah.
I don't want to jinx it, so I don't want to say too much.
Right?
Right. He hasn't met my daughter yet.
Ooh.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
Wow. So does that stress you out?
Yeah.
Why would that stress you out?
Because she's very protective and she's kind of mean sometimes. And when she's trying to protect me. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to go.
I apologize for people tuning in right now. How are we doing, Denny's? Is everything going well on our end?
I think so.
Because it shows only 7 people watching. That means that's not good.
Oh, yeah.
7 people.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's all functioning here.
Okay, let us know in the comment section if you can hear us. Again, it's the first one, so there's a chance there could be some problems.
Yeah, I'm just putting it up on the socials at the moment.
I love it. Beckett, take the floor.
Take the floor?
Yeah.
No pressure.
Let's see. So I'll do like a shameless plug. Mary Lou's Speakeasy. I'm gonna have the whole gang there. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Actually, we're gonna reschedule that investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll do a 2-for-1. We'll do the investigation, and I'll have you guys spirits for spirits type deal.
When we talk about investigation, we are talking about Vicky, who is our psychic medium. She is a ghost, expert, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. And we think Beckett's house could be haunted.
It could be. The reason why is I live in a historic neighborhood. My house is built in 1926. It's one of those historic, wood frame houses,
I mean, if anything, it was going to be haunted.
Yeah. There's a lot of history there. And, I sleep there. I'd like to know.
Yeah, I love it. Real quick, Vicky, you did a walk through my house. Now, you haven't been here in about 6 weeks, maybe?
Hot minute, yeah.
2 months, possibly?
Yeah.
Now, I've got a lot of projects going on, and the reason why I wanted Vicky to do a walkthrough with her psychic powers, Beckett, is because this is my natural habitat. I'm doing projects, so I fall asleep working on something. There's no shine for the people right at this second. And I thought that might be a cool thing to do. And there might be a difference, too, walking through when someone has everything nice and clean compared to they're natural.
Right. There is so much energy.
More than usual?
Well, I don't know if it's because it's been a while since I've been here, but it was like it was like I got shocked. There was so much electricity, and when I got to your door of your bedroom, I felt like I was going to have a heart attack. There was so much electricity.
Wow,
Yeah.
Denny's, what a story.
Wow,
We've
the bedroom's electric.
So we've got electricity, we've got bedrooms, we've got heart attacks. Denny's thoughts, opinions.
That's funny. So you haven't been here for a while. So do you think it could be that this house tends to have a pretty high, intense energy, and just since you haven't been here in a while, it
Right.
kind of hits you?
Yeah, because coming every week, I would be desensitized to it.
You'd be getting used to
but,
it a little bit.
So you've taken a break and then you come on back and Beckett, geez,
whoa.
hit over the head. Ain't that a kick in the head?
Yeah. Well, it's what they call the hedonistic curve. You know, like when you first walk into a place, you might notice a certain scent, good or nefarious, right? But then once you're there for a while, your body, your nose kind of adjusts to it.
It's
and
true.
You don't really realize it anymore.
You get nose
And
blind.
you go to a new space, you smell that different smell.
Not to turn morbid, but that's what they say about murderers that keep a body in the house. They go, after day 3, if they're keeping the body in the house, obviously they're in a different level of a frenzy.
Right.
But they have
Debatable. No.
but now they're so used to the smell of a dead body.
Yeah.
It's kind of like someone who smokes weed all the time or a
Yeah.
cigarette. They have no idea that
It
they
doesn't smell like cigarettes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
as soon as you walk into an elevator, the whole thing smells like
Yeah,
a
100%.
cigarette for 30 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I always
that-
think, I'm like, I'm cool. You walk out and you're like, oh my God.
Cigarettes are, out of all of that, I think it goes cigarette, dead body, then weed.
Are you saying out of intensity of
It's-
smell
that-
or annoyingness of
that,
smell?
that lingers. I
Yeah.
feel like cigarette
Cigarettes will linger for a decade.
lingers. Please don't email me. That's just a joke. I think dead bodies lead, Beckett.
Yeah.
I've been a part of property selling where like the people smoke cigarettes inside the house, and when we moved the furniture, there was the outline of the furniture on the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, if I order toys on an eBay, they're very, very weird and particular with what they sell. And the main selling point for old toys is these came from a non-smoking
wow.
home because smoke breaks down toys or breaks down just anything.
breaks down everything.
It breaks down everything.
It's crazy because like I'm old enough to remember it, but young enough where I just caught part of it. Like I used to work at New York Prime as a busboy when I was young, and you used to be able to smoke. They had a smoking section in the restaurant, in the
yeah.
restaurant, and like then you think back, they smoked in planes and offices. And I remember when they were first making it illegal, California was the first. And everyone's like, "Oh, California's doing that." It's so ridiculous and my freedom. And now it's one of those things we look back on it and we're like, well, that was obviously the right decision. Everyone fought it so much.
Dude, I remember going to Sizzler, and half of the restaurant was smoking
Foggy.
down these
Sizzling.
cancer sticks, and the other half was looking at them like they were monsters.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, nah, the smoke's not getting in the sirloin. It's not getting in the shrimp.
Yeah.
And then you have to ask yourself, why am I eating shrimp from Sizzler?
Right.
I was watching an episode of Columbo, and the doctor was reading back the chart, and he's holding a cigarette in his hand while reading his chart.
Oh, you watch old court footage.
Oh my God, they smoke
where
so
the
much.
judge is handing down, and you'll be at death sentence, smoking a cigarette, giving death sentences out.
It's true.
But I say I would go with dead body as far as smells. My daughter actually got an internship at the medical examiner's office. And so she's able to go in for autopsies and stuff.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's such a strong odor between what they're doing to the bodies too, like to preserve them to do the autopsy. But they wear full protection, and then her clothes still smell like that. And so she puts it in a plastic bag. I stick it on the porch for a couple days and let it sit out there before I put it in my washing machine.
Weird.
So what exactly is she trying to do as far as her career?
Well, she's at Palm Beach State right now for CSI.
That's so
and
cool.
So
I mean,
what she decided, I have to make sure that I can handle seeing a dead body. So she found out about that you could get these internships at the medical examiner's office. She was very aggressive. She got it. There was multiple candidates. She got it. And she found out she was thrown in like day A with like a decomp and like anything you could imagine already she's been able to experience. So she knows she can handle it now.
Has everybody here seen a dead body?
I've seen a wake.
I mean, that would count.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that.
Yeah, I went to Catholic school, so we did open caskets, like all the.
Yeah.
Is that a Catholic thing?
It's a Catholic thing.
Is that just a Catholic thing?
No, it's not.
no, I mean,
Okay.
you got the.
I don't think it's open. It's only, but it's a very Catholic thing.
Yeah.
I'm asking. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because I've.
So I went to a funeral where they were Catholic, and they definitely did that.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
at least half the casket was
Yeah,
open.
exactly.
The
Yeah,
lower
yeah,
half.
yeah.
What do you guys? What are your guys' thoughts on an open casket? Are we for this, or should we just maybe let them rest?
So in the beginning, I'm against it, but then I kind of understand the psychology behind it because I feel like it feels like that's how people said goodbye for millions of years, is they were able to see the person. So if you weren't there during the passing, I think that psychologically it's a way to say goodbye when that person's leaving rather than never see your last time you saw them was alive. Now, I can't make a case one way or the other, but for me, as much as I resisted it and didn't like it, I was scared of it. It made me uncomfortable. But then I also felt the other side, like there was a way to see that person off, if that makes sense.
Some closure.
Yeah.
So you're thinking it's more about the people living than the person that's passed. It's all about that.
Oh, 1,000%.
Vicky, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, our family, we tend towards cremation. So we don't do casket or whatever. But back in the day before you had funeral homes, if someone passed away, they were displayed on the dining room table. And everybody in the neighborhood came, to the body started to stink. And then you would go ahead and bury it. So, but I do, as a child, going to funerals and seeing the open casket, I could always swear that they were breathing.
Yeah.
So it kind of played a little bit of a mind game
It's eerie.
on me.
Our family was always about the cremation, only for the simple fact that when you get cremated, it sort of kind of looks like powdered sugar. And we love powdered sugar, so it kind of was too soon.
It works. No, it works well too because sometimes people will divide up the ashes amongst
Yeah.
the family and stuff, so everybody gets to keep a part.
On the other side, I think I actually have a problem being cremated. I don't like it.
Why
You're
is
not
this?
going to do it?
Well, let's explore this, Beckett.
I just don't know how I feel about the soul and the remains. Like we've talked about this before. I'm more of the thought I'd rather get one of those tree pods and grow as a tree and decompose like in the ground and come back into the earth. Like putting me to dust by high degree fire. Like I don't know what I'm thinking after I'm dead in my body or if I'm left or whatever.
So are you trying to say that even though you're dead, getting burned after cremated, you might go through another sense of pain or struggle?
Maybe it's the unknown. I think is the real answer. It's the unknown of it, and I know some religions don't like cremation. I'm not doing it because of religious reasons. I just
You just do it kind of like because you're afraid, like you're a little bitch boy.
yeah, a little bitch boy Beckett. But it feels more natural to me, and I just prefer that.
Because the chance of you naturally being cremated is probably pretty low.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, unless you fell in a volcano.
Yeah.
Do you understand what Beckett's saying, Vicky?
I understand, but I can assure you that it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah.
I mean,
other side.
what's the difference between a fire and worms?
Yeah.
I like worms. I'd rather
You'd rather be eaten by worms and
You want us to get
the burn. Yeah.
give me the burn, give me the dust. I don't want no slow eating worms, Denny's.
No, they kind of tickles.
I'm not against the cremation. I'm not against the plant pod.
I do love the tree idea of growing into the earth
Yeah.
and then your loved ones could visit a tree.
Yeah.
I would love the idea of visiting my mom at a tree
It's
or,
a win-win-win.
or Chewy.
It's a
It
win-win-win.
is.
It's nice. It's kind of expensive though. Of course, death. So expensive.
Or could you?
Yeah, but getting in a $8,000 mahogany box and buying a plot and a headstone.
Oh,
that's-
well,
all
That's
that
why,
adds up.
yeah.
believe it or not, that's why some people do choose cremation.
Yeah.
because it is on a budget. And look, man, if you're a family struggling, you have no money, and someone dies unexpectedly, and you want to still do a proper ceremony. Dude, funerals are very expensive. We're talking in the 5-digit range. The cremation is really a cheaper version of that.
Yeah.
And not to say that it's completely cheap, it's still kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Death, cha-ching.
Yeah.
For me, it's just practical. We're running out of space
It
to
is
put
true.
bodies.
Does help with.
So, I mean, but my instructions, Bobby Joe has them.
Bobby Joe!
Yes, she has the instructions. There's a little in St. Augustine off of Hippolyta in St. George Street. There's a little garden, and there's a statue of Queen Isabella of Spain, who was the mother of Henry VIII's first wife, Catherine of Aragon. So somebody's going to watch out. Bobby Joe's going to jump over the fence because you're not allowed in there, and she's going to sprinkle me under the
Our
statue.
girl Vicky loves Henry VIII.
You do, you
what,
do.
What is it about Henry VIII
I
that,
don't know.
that you just something in your childhood that you learned about him?
Yeah, I stayed home. I played sick one Sunday and didn't go to church. and I had a little black and white TV. I was upstairs playing, and the only thing that you could get on a Sunday was like PBS. And they were doing this thing about Henry VIII and his wives, and I just started watching it, and I was just fascinated. I was like 7 or 8.
By the way, PBS introduced me to so many
Oh.
things in my life that I never would have ever came in contact with that I'm in love with now. Wayne Dyer,
I love PBS.
the spiritual guru that I got to
Yeah.
interview after my mom passed away. At the time, he was, and I'm not saying this to brag, but the fact that I'm this dumb fuck guy over here interviewing the second most spiritual, influential guy in the world
Yeah.
was pretty
Awesome.
insane. That his family was hearing our show and they heard about me donating the kidney to my boy Bigfoot. He heard about that story and he wanted to do an interview. I mean, that's just kind of intimidating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very intimidating. But yeah, there's something to that.
Yeah.
With the old death, the way you do it,
Yeah.
a Viking death. Are we into that?
Is that where you got put in a ship and then set on fire and then pushed out in the ocean? Is that what we're talking?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
That sounds
I mean, that's
that sounds
awesome.
the most expensive.
Yeah, that's gonna be so expensive.
They just, I think, from what I understand, they put you on some wood and they shoot some arrows and
Hey, they set it on fire. They
sets on
push it out and
fire,
they set it on
and
fire.
everyone's watching you and you kind of burn into the night.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I also thought it was weird in Star Trek and stuff when people died, they just shoot them out into space, and you just go, "That's gonna hit somebody one day, right?" Like just a tube with a person. It's gotta be horrifying.
To pivot from that, because we'll move on from death, space, being stuck out there. We've got astronauts stuck out in space as we speak. Could you imagine being stuck out in outer space and you don't know when you're coming home? A couple questions. Are you the kind of person that's built for that kind of situation? Or do you go, even if you're an astronaut with this brilliant mind, go, what the shit? I'm stuck out in space.
Stuck out in space is rough. Stuck out in the ocean is second rough, but space is even worse because you can't really do anything.
Yeah, I'm not built for that.
I'm
No,
Definitely
you're just
not
by
built for that.
yourself.
Well, I think you would. I think everything would be so grand, and you have nothing but time to think. You get
Oh my
all the
God.
things done, and then you're just going, "Huh? I'm out in the middle of space, and I'm not going home yet."
If you gave me the choice to do that in prison or in space, I'd pick prison.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's such like a high risk of life. I would have claustrophobia. You know.
Okay, let me paint a scenario. You are in space for 2 years, but you don't know if you're coming back or not. You do come back, but you don't know that. Or prison, and you have to share a cell with a guy named Bones. And Bones really likes your hair. And Bones he's tougher than you, if you know what I mean. What are you picking?
As long as I'm not giving him a bone, I'm staying in prison.
Oh, no, well,
I don't know if you get.
Vicky, can you do me a favor? Can you explain
Yeah,
to
just let it
Beckett-
happen. Just let it happen.
Can you explain to Beckett that Bones is...
Soap on a rope.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's
I don't think you get Bones. Denny, what are you picking, prison or outer space?
That scenario is awful.
I'm talking, and you know what I'm talking about with the guy. But Bones runs cell block E. He's gonna make you his bitch.
He buys
Well,
you
you're,
for
you're,
cigarettes.
If
you're
you-
giving a hypothetical of anal sex, now I might roll the dice. If you're saying anal sex is definitely happening, then I'm probably going to space.
I never said. Those
I
are
don't
your,
think you ever said.
those are your words. Those are Ryan B's words.
What if he just
Well, that
run?
was the insinuation.
I'm just saying, Bones makes your life real tough.
He makes no bones about it. Huh?
What are you picking?
You know, like I said, if there's uncertainty there, then I'm going prison. If it's a definitive thing, like I think I can talk him off the ledge. I think I can reason with him. I can trade some cigarettes.
Denny's, I think you're sharing a cell with Bones.
I don't know. It's just me in space. I don't have a team.
But
No, you have one other person, but they are.
remember his detail.
Very annoying.
He says you come back, but he's saying you don't know you're coming back.
for
Yes.
sure.
So
That's
You've
why I'm out.
accepted,
That's
yeah.
why I'm out.
It's 2 years out in space with somebody who's very annoying, but you don't know you're coming back.
I'll do
so-
prison. That's cool. I'll be with all bones.
At least you'd have
Jones.
conjugals. You know, you can see your kid. People can come visit you. You can make some phone calls. You get trade some
You're
cigarettes.
making prison sound
Oh,
awesome.
you're trading some cigarettes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very good.
Notice she didn't ask me if I'm taking Bones in prison. I'll take Bones for $500, Alex.
What is bones?
I do want to wish everybody a National Happy Croissant Day.
Oh, that's right.
Is croissant the best kind of breading for a grilled cheese? I'll start with you, Vicky.
No.
You hate?
I don't like croissants.
Really?
I really don't like them.
Why?
I've never had one that I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever.
Really? They're
don't
so
know.
flaky.
I know. I guess I like that in a
Yeah,
like a
they
pastry.
never show up when you order them.
Like a flaky pastry joke. I'm sorry. I teed that one up. I'll take full credit.
I mean, Pekka's got himself in stitches.
I like the grilled sourdough, and it's not just taste and flavor and the kind of bread. I like the square that's cut into a triangle for the purpose of dipping it in the tomato.
So
It's more functional.
So when we're talking grilled cheese with Beckett, you're all about that dipping.
Oh, triangle all the way.
Wow.
So he takes it and then cuts it. And it has
Yeah,
the points.
Yeah, you gotta have the point. You know, the point gives the points.
He likes to cut it in that triangle shape.
That's right. That's right.
Denny's, what are your thoughts?
So I don't know if the croissant is the perfect bread for a grilled cheese. I don't even know if I've even heard of like doing that.
Chat.
I've heard of like a croque monsieur or a like Monte Cristo, where they add some extra stuff.
Oh, croque monsieur. Let me guess. Did you learn that in cotillion school?
All right, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I don't think that's made with croissants.
Yeah, I don't think it's made with croissant either. It's so I'm just trying to think of other. I've just never heard of that marriage. But
wow, we got a lot of croissant haters up in this piece.
I love a croissant, but I definitely don't know if I've had it with like a cheese.
You say it's so good. You might be French in the next KPJ horror movie.
Oh, you're gonna make you a French guy?
pretty amazing. I love a grilled cheese with some sliced tomato on a croissant, maybe even a little mustard. Yeah, am I a dick?
I think white bread's probably like Hawaiian bread or white bread. I think are the two
Hawaiian
best.
bread
Yeah,
is
Hawaiian
good.
bread really elevates it.
All right, so we all vote Hawaiian bread's the best for grilled cheese.
I think I'm sourdough.
Wow, sourdough.
He's standing
I
his
might
ground.
have to do sourdough too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when he said it, I wasn't against it at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not until you try it.
I tried sourdough, Beckett.
You're like, bitch, I know what sourdough is.
But if you had it with tomato and mustard,
I don't know if I ever have.
Nobody has, Denny. Happy NASA Day of Remembrance.
All right. On Croissant Day.
We celebrate people who
Is it ever-
sacrificed their life to go out into outer space, like the two son of a biscuits that are. I think it's two, right?
Two.
Is that a guy and a woman? Beckett. Are they married?
yes, I think so.
Okay, if you.
But they have other people on the ship with them. They're just different missions. I think they have a couple of Russian guys, and
So go ahead and give us the layman's terms of what's going on with these astronauts stuck out in space and kind of 30 seconds or less.
So more or less, the United States bid it out to private contractors for space travel. So they, of course, NASA does its own thing, but two main companies got the contracts. That was, of course, SpaceX and Boeing. Boeing went way over budget, way over time. They tried to make a liftoff. They were right there at the thing. The astronauts had to get off. They finally got up. They had problems with the thrusters coming into the space station. They figured it out. They were only supposed to be up there for like a couple weeks, something short, whatever.
He's so bummed out.
Next thing you know, they're like, oh, it's fine. We're doing diagnostics, whatever. Turns out, couldn't fix it. The chances were it would probably be fine to bring them back, but they made a decision to not risk it. So they sent the capsule back without them. And the capsule ended up coming back fine, relatively speaking. So now they're stranded up there. So the current president was like, oh, well, we're going to put SpaceX. They kind of had that on the ready anyway. So now it looks like a SpaceX is going to go up to try to rescue him, which is horrible marketing with all the problems that Boeing's had. And it's like great marketing for SpaceX.
I mean, they all get their own room, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty tight quarters. I mean, you're like
So you can't even
like on a sub.
You can't even toss off there.
Well, you,
Oh, that would make such a mess.
you definitely got to use a sock.
It would be everywhere.
Well, that's the problem. Gravity. Like going to the bathroom sucks. Like
Yeah,
making a cup
yeah.
of coffee sucks.
Yeah, so, I mean,
in prison you can pee normal.
So someone's going to
right.
cell block you with bones, sounds like.
Yeah, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it.
Yeah.
Let's get with some Ask Vicky questions. Vicky, our awesome psychic medium. She is great with ghost hunting, psychic medium stuff. The first question, Vicky. Need my readers. I apologize. Vicky, I'm starting to see dead people all of a sudden. They walk around me and smile. Then they disappear. I'm 49 years old. This is something new. I've had my brain scanned. Everything came back healthy. Can people just automatically start seeing dead people?
Yeah, I didn't see dead people till 2007. I started figuring out a few things, but I didn't start seeing and talking to them until 2013. So, yeah, it can happen later in life. There could be a lot of things that block you early on and that you don't develop your gift and your ability, and then all of a sudden it's opened up.
Do you remember your first experience?
I remember my first reading that I didn't plan on being a reading. I remember that one explicitly. I think on a paranormal investigation, the very first time I was at a location and I looked over, there were bunk beds. And all of a sudden, like, I had a really brief flash of a little boy sitting on the top bunk. And then he disappeared, but he started telling me things. So I'm pretty sure that was the first time on an investigation that I saw a spirit.
And how old were you?
Oh gosh, I have to do the math.
Here, you want me to get my abacus out?
Dennis, get the calculator. I couldn't think of a cooler name for. You know what? It's
Get that math machine out.
Honestly,
What's that thing?
So
It was a
I was
shitty
30.
question.
I was 30. So I was 39.
Okay, so this is something that can happen in your mid 40s, even
yeah.
your. I guess there's no time limit on something like this.
Yeah, it could happen at any time.
And you wonder why all of a sudden it does happen. Does something just align?
It could be. Well, in my case, I exposed myself to the paranormal. So I immersed myself in communicating with spirits through a recorder, and then they just naturally started speaking through my gift that I didn't know I had, because mine had actually been squashed growing up from my mom. So
Some people feel that way with alien activity. If you're searching for it, you may just find it. What are your thoughts on that, Beckett? Is that too easy of something to say that's a alien hopeful? I searched for it and I found it.
Well, I mean, you're looking. You're more likely to find it.
That's a good point. That is a good point that people go, Bird, you're always talking about this shit.
You look at the sky
But
every night.
I mean, I really go out every single night and I chart the sky. It's not a normal thing. So somebody that does that will be more likely to see something.
Fair. In my mind, the people that didn't seem to be looking for it seem more believable.
Yeah, no.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, when you have this old couple from 1968 and they get interviewed, and you can just tell this is not a couple that's looking for any fame or shine.
talk about Betty and Barney.
I mean, that is one case, I would say. But there's many other cases that people don't know that are just like that, where people are just regular Midwesterners driving down the street, and all of a sudden they have this unbelievable experience.
Yeah.
And because of the time, because of people saying, shut up, you're crazy, it was never taken seriously. And now, in modern times, going back and looking at some of this shit, people go, was this real? What sucks is, because it was so, decades ago, you don't have that here and now kind of explanation. You have to kind of go back into old research, and that's where people kind of go, okay, it's 30 years old. They were they were high.
Right.
Yeah, but there wasn't as much technology that could have given you a false positive thinking
It's
it was
true.
something else. So to me, it's more believable before all the technology, before people started faking things.
Well, now with drones, I mean, that adds
Yeah.
so much confusion because anyone could buy
Yeah.
one.
Well, I feel like the confusion makes it just way worse. When you got something that could be real, and then you throw, but it could be human-made. Now
Oh, I mean,
we've got a
geez.
blurred line. It's totally screwed.
Or is that their plan to create those blurred lines, keep you confused?
I talked about it briefly on the morning show today, and there's a theory where movie makers were asked to do stuff about aliens to get people used to the idea that it was even a possibility. And Spielberg did E.T., and there were people in the UFO community very pissed off that he made E.T. so lovable and benign and cuddly. Not saying that they're here to cut our throats, but they're not here to hug us either. They're not, Reese's. It's not like that. And there were people that were pissed about that.
They're coming with a vengeance.
Well, the truth is we don't really know, and E.T. was young.
That's what he is, a kid. So
He was a kid. He was innocent.
According to the fucking Spielberg storyline, yeah.
You know,
you can make him anything you want.
You meet an adult lion in the Serengeti, or you have a lion cub. It's two very different things, you know.
But alien babies could be all jacked up, right? Like, what if they age backwards, like Benjamin Button?
They're like a Stewie on Family Guy. They're like doing mind control.
This is the highest part of the podcast. I love it. But Vicky, what are your thoughts on that? Making ETL lovable. Can you see why? I'm talking about people because you're in a very unique community where it's ghost, it's psychic, and that's a very specific avenue of detail. When you've got the UFO community going, oh my gosh, ET, lovable, huggable.
Yeah, because it makes a joke out of all their research and all the work that they've done. I know that there are certain paranormal shows and movies and stuff that have come out, and I'm like, that's disrespectful to those of us who have, used our own time and resources to actually help people and to figure this stuff out. So I can totally get why they were mad.
There's even part of the UFO community when they watch a documentary, if there's quick edits with dramatic music, they get so offended because they're going, no, this isn't pure. Give us the raw interview, man. We don't need these quick edits. We don't need all the drama. And they get mad about that, Denny's.
Yeah, I can see why. I mean,
Well, explore that opinion.
I'm just saying it sensationalizes it. I can see why. People that take it seriously, they don't want any goofiness, anything
Yes.
clouding it up, anything muddying it up.
Thank you, Denny's.
I make a case that they could be nice, because they could have blown us to oblivion by now,
But also, maybe they can't. There's also that possibility as well.
Well, I think until we know for sure, we should let artists make whatever they want in terms of their interpretation of another life.
You AI fuck. Vicky, what are the top 3 entities you do not want to come across? Can Vicky rank them from 3 to 1 worst?
Well, if a demon actually exists, I think they would make the top of the list of something I don't technically want to come across.
Is that number 1?
It would be if they exist. If I totally bought into the idea that they actually exist.
What do you mean by that?
I'm not 100% sure that what has been called a demonic entity actually is demonic.
Why is that?
I think that they are just really, really nasty elementals. Not necessarily,
Like a demon.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on board. It's just because I have dealt with so many demonologists and, people like that in the field. And, I can quote everything that has to do with a demon. I can tell you what, the stages are. I can tell you this, that, and the other. But I'm at the point where I've researched enough and I've heard enough that I'm questioning whether it was. So if they existed, demon would be number 1.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to run into a very, very nasty nature spirit.
What is that in layman's terms?
Well, that would be something that presents itself more like a demon.
Is that an elemental of sorts?
Yeah.
Is that what I kind of
Nature spirit, elemental.
Is that what I got going on here?
Well, no, yours isn't nasty.
So I have no nasty spirits here.
I didn't say that. I'm saying your nature spirits are okay. They're not like that level.
Got ya. It is a little confusing. We have nature spirits that are, I guess, the same as elementals, or they're
I use the term interchangeable.
Okay.
Nature spirits, elementals. Some people even will say fairies, gnomes. They'll put them all in that same category.
Okay. And number 3.
If they exist, I would not want to come across a shapeshifter because they're pretty nasty. You could get totally suckered if they're changing their shape. if they're doing animals and they're going to come at me as a cobra, no, I don't want to do that.
So would a shapeshifter be, is it a human entity that can change into things, or is it a elemental energy that can turn into things?
I think Native Americans believe they're their own separate thing.
right.
It's a spirit, not a person. And it can change its form in order to fool people.
What would freak you out more? Something that turned into a cobra or something that turned into a member of Cobra Kai?
They sweep your leg.
I'm
not
sorry.
answering
I apologize. People don't like when I get too goofy on these serious conversations.
But the good part of that question is, I mean, most of the things you're going to come across, they're just human spirits. Or they're tame enough elementals that you don't have to worry about
so
it.
the emails I'm going to get is going to be, all right, so what does Bird have in his house that worries you? Is it
That's a loaded question.
other than Jaybird?
Okay, that was my answer. Sorry.
No, anything that, because I feel like you've said I've had elementals here before. You've talked about the Guardian at my door.
The Guardian's a different thing.
What is that
I
then?
didn't. Well, it's another. Again, it's Native American based. It's its own entity, and its job is to guard land and things like that. And if you are disrupting, sometimes they'll appear like you're disrupting their environment, and they're there to protect, and they're there to basically think of them like a bodyguard. If someone were coming at you and their job as a bodyguard, they will just eliminate that person or try to hurt them.
I apologize, not to interrupt you, Vicky, but did Beckett just do an audible yawn?
No, it was a
during
big
your story?
exhale.
No, that was a yawn.
That was a
homie.
big exhale.
Oh my God. At the break of yawn. Vicky, I apologize.
No, it was a big exhale. I promise.
He already insulted me, before the show by not listening to me. So.
We have to,
Turn my phone.
no. We have
He's
to
on a roll.
we have to isolate that audio because you're in the middle of telling something. So now all of a sudden you're.
Yeah, it's a big exhale. I'm off the vape.
That's right, you're back in the gym.
Yeah.
And the last question, that was great stuff, Vicky. I don't know if Beckett would agree, but
I concur.
this last question, and I don't know if you've seen this before, so I apologize, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Wanted to get Vicky's opinion about Chris Angel debunking psychics. How does she feel about what he said? And I watched the interview, and it was a lot of, I'm Chris Angel, illusionist, mind freak.
Well, I can debunk him.
Oh,
So,
shit. Do
know.
you want Denny's? Drop her a beat. Chris Angel.
Yeah.
Chris Angel.
Yeah, but I mean, there's always going to be people that, say things. There was somebody, who was it? I had a conversation the other day, and they were doubting. And they said something, and I said, well, universities have studied psychic ability. So it's not like it's not on the radar of somebody trying to actually measure it and give it, some substantial backup on it. And what I always tell people, if you don't believe I'm a psychic, don't talk to me. It's no big deal. I don't care.
The email was lengthy, but they would use terms as kind of because I did watch the Chris Angel interview. It was about 9 minutes long. He would use terms, smoking mirrors, parlor tricks, cold reading.
I mean,
any of that.
Anybody that's come to Barnes and Noble and sat across the table knows that I have no tricks up my sleeve. I look at a picture.
Is that where you go? Barnes and Noble?
Yes.
Whoa.
A lot of times I go
That's
to.
where she does reading.
That's where I do the in-person ones. I know. Yeah. When I leave, my son, I always said I'm going for readings, and he's like, "What are you reading, Shakespeare?"
Oh, I love it. Okay, very good. So you do readings there. Is there a reason why you do it at a Barnes and Noble? Do you feel more comfortable? Is it better to do a reading in a kind of public atmosphere, or would you argue it's better to do it in an intimate setting?
I mean, I'm not inviting strangers into my home, so I couldn't do it there. And it's a public
Boring.
place. And it's a public place. And honestly, Barnes & Noble gets a kickback because most people go to the cafe and they buy a coffee and then they go and they buy a book or something like that. So, it's a win-win for everybody.
Side note, this podcast is not brought to you by Barnes & Noble, but if you are finding yourself on December 24th and have no presents for your family, Barnes and Noble's amazing.
They really are.
There's like a discounted table, calendars,
Tons of pop cultural.
Oh my
things.
gosh, popcorn. Yeah, Beckett, it's great. Great job.
Is he a random facts?
What's up?
Is that a random fact?
No.
Oh, are you trying to lead into? Because I was getting ready to do getting tech it with Beckett, but if you want to go into some Denny's random facts, we're not going to do that. We're going to stick to my schedule. I'm just kidding. Sweet Denny's does a great job just surfing the internet. He reads encyclopedias, a few dictionaries I've heard, just learning. He gives us some facts. Vicky grades him. She's our educator. She's a teacher. If she loves it, she gives him an A. If she hates it, she can give him an F. Denny's, as you know, the floor is yours.
All right. I just pulled this one because I thought it was funny, and I like opening everyone's eyes to this stuff. But so in the U.S., in a 16-ounce box of spaghetti, there is legally allowed to be 450 insect parts and up to 9 rodent hairs.
Yes, this is a thing where I think anything you eat, just know
It's
that there's
covered.
going to be a couple rat boogers in there, possibly a rat tail hair of sorts.
So they consider that amount insignificant enough to not affect you whatsoever.
I kind of think that's the way it is anywhere, man.
It is. In fact, I pulled a couple other weird things. Ground cinnamon is allowed to contain up to 400 insect fragments per 50 grams.
That's a lot of insects, dog.
That is a lot of insect. Crushed oregano can contain up to 300 insect bits for every 10 grams.
So the lesson here, kids, is you're always eating bug eyes.
Peanut butter jelly sandwiches contain bug fragments and rat hairs. And this one's kind of shocking. Bloody Marys, by law, are legally allowed to contain up to 4 maggots and 20 fruit flies.
Ugh.
So
Another reason why I can't stand Bloody Marys are gnarly to me. I don't get how
like,
people love Bloody Marys.
Oh, I'm obsessed with Bloody
So
Mary.
I love
I don't hate Bloody Marys
It's
myself.
great. It's such a disgusting drink.
I'm a Bloody Maria guy. It's way better.
So what's the change on that?
Tequila.
Oh,
I don't like vodka. Vodka's the tofu booze. It's the worst. The better the vodka, the less you taste it.
it is true. And the less the hangover you get, the more
Yeah.
filtered it is.
Tequila is like a jealous girlfriend. You start the night with her, you finish with her, you're going to have a beautiful night. If you stray on her and you mix, she's going to be scornful as hell.
No, tequila is an ex-girlfriend, meaning in the sense that you drink too much and she's gonna try to murder you.
Oh, yeah.
Fair.
Tequila is a very powerful drink.
Dude,
Yeah.
tequila is the werewolf.
I don't know what it is about that because
Of drink.
back when I was drinking whiskey and vodka pretty regularly, every time I did tequila, I'd almost black out every single time.
I just want the fruits of the world. I just want the sweets of the world, baby. I want them all. It's too much.
So you like tomatoes, you like tomato sauce, you love pizza. I would make a challenge to you that if I make you a Bloody Maria the way that I make it, you actually might like it.
I think I would love that challenge.
All right,
I like it.
I'd like to see this
I like
challenge.
it. I have a way that I do it that I think you'll like it.
Can Denny just sit in the corner and watch?
Yeah, of course.
I will.
You can
glad
videotape
you
with like a
invited me.
plastic bag floating over his head.
Make a real weird light. Denny's, I loved it.
Sorry
but
to
it-
gross her. I just thought it was
it's not up to me.
insane what we allow.
It's up to Vicky. What's the grade, Vicky?
I mean, it's interesting enough. I'll give it a C. But my question is, if the person's counting all those bug fragments, why don't they just throw them out?
They said because it's very expensive. They said it would cost a lot of money to do it, so they measured what is allowable without affecting your health, and that's what they allow up to.
What would you rather? What would you be more bummed out about if you were eating or drinking a quarter of a rat tail, or if you were eating a half of a rat eye?
Why is it all rat stuff?
Well, I don't know, dog. I'm going by yours. Why
rat-
is it all rat stuff?
I feel like rat tails kind of look like long, skinny fingers.
And it's by their butt, their BH.
because it's kind of human skin they got going on for their hands and their tails.
Give me the eye. Give me the eye.
Eyes are terrible though.
Dude, eyes are terrible. But you want that BH, the RBH?
No.
Rat butthole?
No.
No.
You're right. You're right. What was I thinking? what was I thinking?
Becky, what do you go with? I know it's a tough question. I get it.
It's a hard question. This Thursday.
I don't know. I definitely go with the bug bits over anything rat.
That's not the question, Becky. Respect the game.
Probably go tail.
Tail.
Yeah,
Wow.
like, it's like the squishiness of the eye and
Oh.
all that stuff. Like I can't do it.
Okay. All right. We got you, BH. All right. What do you got there?
I'll do eyeball.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get the grief from you by going tail.
What is it? What if the rat has like pink eye, conjunctivitis?
That's what you're worried about?
Yeah.
You're worried about the pink eye of a rat? What if it's got brown eye?
At least we're adjacent.
All right, Denny's, you're killing it.
So, what do you guys think about this spider? There's a spider called the Brazilian wandering spider, and it causes a very painful bite. It causes muscle spasms, severe pain, difficulty breathing, and it can actually kill you. But one of the other side effects is it causes a prolonged, painful erection that lasts up to 10 to 12 hours.
Oh, my gosh. Look, and I'm not trying to share too much information. There was one time I had a boner for 4 hours, and it was very painful, Beckett. And it was in a baseball uniform.
Those are rookie numbers.
Denny's, it was like a 7-hour trip and I passed out and I woke up with a boner from a sex dream, and it was so painful and it wouldn't go down. I'm like, oh my God, Becky, I'm so sorry. I
Can't relate to this fact at all.
But yeah, prolonged boners is a thing.
Yeah, it can last anywhere from 8 to 12 hours, and it's extraordinarily
pay a
painful.
lot of money for that.
Well, so funny enough, they've decided to dissect the spider, and they're trying to use its venom as a synthetic molecule to treat erectile dysfunction. Because it's one of the side effects of its venom.
Man, how shitty is it to be born a mouse or a rat? I mean, just the testing.
Yeah.
Let's try this. Let's see if this will make the boner work. Test the rat.
Unless you end up Splinter.
Somebody's asking if you can relieve it, to get rid of it, but I think you're in a fever dream. Like
What do you mean?
you're having muscle spasms.
Well, explore that, Denny. What do you mean by that?
So they're saying, release
What do you mean?
yourself. But I think you're in a bad state. It's just embarrassing too that when they're carrying you around on the stretcher.
Look, boners are great, but anything more than 3 hours, it's a hazard.
Is that your break point? 3 hours?
Oh, Becky, we get it. You have a rat cock. We get it.
Kama Sutra dick.
All right, Daddy. Again, crushing it. Some of your best stuff.
All right, so how much does this change everyone's life here? Just recently, the beginning of this year, they spotted an asteroid that has a 1% chance of hitting the Earth in 2032. In fact, they have it down to the date of December 22nd, 2032.
Oh, 3 days before Christmas.
So they said that, I guess the scientists got together, they said that the Earth gets hit by an asteroid like this every few thousand years, and it does cause severe damage. So, but they have no idea where it's going to hit. If it will, it's a very small percentage, only a 1%.
All the scientists got together, and they did not talk about sex.
But yeah, what do you guys think about that? 2032, December 22nd. There's a 1% chance we'll get hit by a... Pretty low.
There's been so many... The Earth is going to end dates. My mom would tell me dates back in the day were, November 5th, 1955. November 5th, 1955. Yes, but those dates.
Oh, for sure. I think humans are obsessed with the end days.
Vicky, back in your day, let's say the days where you were pining over a Leif Garrett, were there talkings of the end of the world?
Probably. I mean, because I was brought up very religious, so we always, referred to Revelations. So yeah, I always thought that the end was coming at some point.
That's the baddie chapter, right?
Yeah.
That's where it all goes down, Beckett.
Remember, it's not that far-fetched because as far as scientists knows and archaeologists knows, that's how the dinosaurs died. So it has happened.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because you know what today is? I swear to you, I'm not lying. Today's National Draw a Dinosaur Day.
Ooh.
And I kind of wanted, before you guys leave, I was going to hope you guys could draw a dinosaur.
All right.
Okay.
That nothing more than 5 minutes, but I'd like to just get some footage of you guys drawing a dinosaur. Use your imagination. I'll put a little video together.
Sounds fun.
It would tickle my heart.
Sounds
Vicky, is that okay? You are looking at me like I'm a
Well,
psych.
it'll be fun, Bird.
So at least I've got 2 people doing it with me.
Yeah, the boys can do it.
Speaking of,
Vicky.
speaking of, I don't know if I told you guys about this. I just found out about it last minute. I went over to the Science Museum by my house, and I was seeing when they had those like music laser shows in the planetarium and stuff like that. Their
Pretty
schedule,
cool.
and they had a dinosaur exhibit.
Yeah.
So I started talking to people at the front desk. They ended up doing downtown Clematis a world record
For the
dinosaur.
most
Oh, all right. So,
I got a
put it on.
I got a onesie and went down there. And
You
did
did?
it.
Oh, you were
yes.
part of it.
It's part of the world record.
You were
wow.
part of the world
Yeah,
record.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look
It's a lot of
at
fun.
this guy.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Wow.
Yeah, they
It's
broke
good stuff.
it.
Yeah.
Good job.
They broke it by a lot, actually.
Yeah, they far exceeded it.
Yeah.
So.
Most of the comments that people were like, if you read the comments on the Instagram from like the Cox Science Museum, people were pissed. They're like, if I would have known this, I would have done it. I think they didn't advertise it because they were worried they're gonna have too many people show up.
That makes sense. We talked about it 2 days prior.
Yeah, we talked about it a couple times, but yeah, I'm glad. Look, I love Goofy World Records, and I love dinosaurs. I really love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Vicky, do you find that kids today, are they still talking dinos?
No.
Really?
Yeah. No. I never had. I mean, I haven't been in the classroom for years because I've been the coordinator. But my 3rd graders, I even taught kindergarten for a little bit, and they didn't talk about dinosaurs.
So you know how the Jurassic series, the Jurassic Park series seems to be, they'll spend a lot of money on one and it'll be a blockbuster, and then they'll just kind of like try to ride on the coattails and it'll be a flop, and then they'll spend a lot of money again and it's really good. Sounds like they're getting ready to spend a lot of money. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Scarlett Johansson's going to be in it.
Scoho? Or
Yeah.
Scojo?
Yeah. And I have learned, I think I brought this up on the podcast a few years back. I was listening to an NPR story about a golden age in paleontology, and they were interviewing what you would describe as like the LeBron James of paleontologists, right? And they were interviewing him, and during the interview, they're like, well, this is interesting. Like, why do you think we're in a golden age of paleontology? And he goes, well, I can't speak for everyone, but all I know is my grandparents took me to a movie when I was a little kid, and I stood on my seat that entire movie and knew that's what I wanted to do, and that movie was Jurassic Park. So, in the area of space travel,
created a lot of
Star Trek.
interest.
Yes.
The highest enlistment ever for the military and the Navy was after Top Gun 1.
true.
It's amazing how those kind of things can affect cultures.
Well,
and,
it kind of comes back to the theory of how they use movies and shows to kind of slowly breadcrumb aliens, technology,
Murder.
time travel. But back in the day, you'd watch an alien movie, and if you said you believed in aliens back in 1988, they'd call you a fucking lunatic.
Right.
Nowadays, you're talking about aliens and UFOs. They're still calling you lunatic, but they're at least some credibility because military people are coming behind, and saying, look, this is real. You're not so crazy. So all this shit we grew up saying that was crazy, I don't know. The whole breadcrumbing theory starts to make a little bit more sense to me.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Vicky?
I mean, it's like slowly introducing it to us so that it becomes part of our.
Otherwise,
culture
they're just
and
like,
psyche,
boom.
But are they
alien.
doing that because they know the inevitable is going to happen? They know that the aliens or UFOs are here, or tech point where they have to almost kind of warn people because if not, it would be too grand. I mean, we're at a point where you can do drones in the sky that it could look like Jesus came back. That's a real thing that could happen.
yeah.
Imagine driving down the highway and not knowing about drones, that you're not versed on that, and all of a sudden you see something light up in the sky that looks like Jesus or an eyeball or a UFO. Holy shit, that's War of the Worlds maxed out 1,000%.
Listen, if you took all the technology that we have today and brought it into the era where Jesus was walking the earth in 30 AD or whatever, people would believe whatever the people said with all the technology and the drones over Jesus himself.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't mean that to be disrespectful to
Me
religion
either, me either.
or Jesus. What I'm saying is that we're at a point now where humans can manipulate stuff to get people completely shook and completely rattled and confused.
Even with just photos and video.
Well, we talked about that with World of the Worlds, how that did it too, and it's almost like there's so much noise that now people don't believe anything. You know,
Yes.
like so there's like such like a
Yeah.
You know, it's that law of the universe I always bring up in physics, which is just so true about so many things. Politics, technology, relationships, energy, is that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. You know?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Denny's, a couple more facts, because the conversation's just dancing over here.
All right, let's see here. So, there's a stretch in England at Yorkshire called the Bolton Strid, and it is a small section of a river that has a 100% mortality rate, meaning it's killed every single person that's ever entered it. They say there's even a sign that says deceptive depths and strong undercurrents has led to 10 out of 10 deaths. There's been streamers that go there and have streamed there. Nobody's really jumped in, but not one person that's ever jumped in it has ever survived. They think it's because of the shape. It has a bunch of irregular widening and tightening spots, and it's about as tall as a double-decker bus. But they say when you get thrown into the rapids, a lot of bodies are never, ever even discovered ever again afterwards, meaning they're probably getting pulled into an underground thing.
Is there audio going in and out?
I'm not sure.
I'm starting to see a lot of comments going, I would love to stay with you guys, but the audio is going in and out. Has that been going on the whole podcast, or is that just something recently?
I'm not sure.
Please let me know. I did not mean to cut you off there, Denny's, because your stuff is great.
Yeah. I mean, we have been going an hour.
All right. Well, you know what? Great job on your facts. Let's go ahead and just end this thing, because I am seeing the numbers drop, which means we're probably having some bad shit going down. Last thing I do want to talk about. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear that next Thursday. We're going to be at a Beats New Haven Pizza out there in Royal Palm Beach. You guys are all cool with that, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be from 5 to 7. It's a chance to go ahead and meet the Weird Whatever team. Some of you have not. And it would be great to kind of go out and see the people, eat some pizza. It's a free event. Bring out the family. And that'll be great fun. Out there, Royal Palm Beach. I'll be talking about it a lot in the KVJ show, along with the Sweet Denny's. I think audio's fine. People are saying it's fine with some.
I'm seeing 50-50.
50-50.
So I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Bring in the
either.
beats.
The one thing I do want to let you know, because it's the new year, I have not gotten a lot of new music. We usually love to end the podcast with people who write their own songs. So if you are an original songwriter, please send it to any of our social media platforms. What's the best one, Denny's?
You can send it to our Facebook, Instagram. They're tied together. Anywho, those are probably the best. Or mail at kvjshow.com, because I grab all the emails anyway.
Because of all these drone situations, Beckett, you've heard about this. These drones out there. And all of a sudden, there's no drones. There are drones. We think the government is lying. We're going to end the podcast with the Snack Pack's latest song, The Government is Lying. We hope you guys have a great week. We love you all, and...
Bigfoot is real.
Confidence in government is at one of the lowest points in half a century.
Well, I'm not a crook.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The government is lying, the government is lying about the aliens and the UFOs flying. The government is lying, the government is lying. In every single move that you make, they are spying. The government is lying, the government is lying about the aliens and the UFOs flying. The government is lying, the government is lying. And all that bullshit that you're selling, we ain't buying. Do you trust the government? No, I never did. I haven't trusted them ever since I was a kid. They watch you when you eat, they watch you when you nap, they watch you when you shower, and they watch you when you crap. Liar, liar, pants on fire. The government is tapping my telephone wire. We don't trust Republicans or Democrats. The only party you should trust is the Snack Pack. The government's treating us like some loons, cause we know NASA never really landed on the moon. JFK, God rest your soul. The government put that hole in your skull. Well, I got a sick son and a sick daughter. Cause you've been feeding them that government tap water. Knock, knock. Who is there? It's the men in black. And the Snack Pack scared. The government government is lying, the government is lying about the aliens and the UFOs flying. The government is lying, the government is lying in every single move that you make, they're spying. The government is lying, the government is lying about the aliens and the UFOs flying. The government is lying, the government is lying, and all that bullshit that you're selling, we ain't buying. All your lies have got so messy. You hide the truth about Bigfoot and Nessie. Who's got Jimmy Hoffa's body? Probably the Illuminati. Clones, drones, skull and bones. You're by yourself, but you're not alone. Nixon, Carter, Truman, y'all lizard people, y'all ain't human.
Indeed, I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate.
They got their eye on you.
In fact,